The next nama is, from here we are going to see those which are going to address him as the very ambrosia and the very name that protects his devotees, that speaks of his greatness. There are going to be 25 namas. The first one is Sushenaha, Shobhana Shuddha Sattvamayi Baddha Muktya Nitya Vijayopakaranatvat Seneva Panchopanishatkayaha Asya Iti. For those who are led by Baddha, Mukta and Nitya. Baddhatmas are those Jivatmas who are in bondage. Muktatma are those that follow a path of upayam as laid in the Brahma Vidya, attain it and then cross the path of light and reaches Vaikuntham. That is Muktatma. Those who are permanently staying there are called Nityatma. Here, Shobhana Shuddha Sattvamayi Baddha Mukta Nitya Vijayopakaranatvat. So he has won over all the three categories of Jivatmas. Through what? Through Panchopanishad that he has. Since he has that Panchopanishad, he is called as Sushenaha. Next is Kanakangati Tanmayaihi Uktarupa Saundarya Sandhukshanaihi Angadopalakshitaihi Divyabhushanair Nityayogat Kankanadihi. Now, for all those ornaments that have to adorn him, he says, Sandhukshanaihi Angadopalakshitaihi Divyabhushanaihi. He is wearing all divine ornaments. That which comes here, that which comes here, that which comes here, that which comes here, that which comes here. He is wearing something which is very, very divine to look at. Since he does so, he is called as Kanakangati. The next nama is Guhyaha. Yevam Paramopanishad Vishayena Vapusha Guhyaha. Now, with respect to the Panchopanishad, when the devotee masters it, understands it word by word, understands the sentences, the panktis, and then is able to internalize and produce, Guhyaha Evam Paramopanishad Vishayena Vapusha. He becomes the one that bridges the gap between the practitioner and the one who has to give him darshana. Guhyaha. Next is Gabhiraha Tadabhakti Tadabhiktischaishwarya Mahagambhiryaha Gambhiraha. Now, people may want to realize him as much as possible, but he is actually beyond our perception of understanding how much of energy he has, how much of potential he has. The one who beyond a certain point cannot be described, cannot be internalized, but he is beyond our very imagination of thoughts. He is called as Gabhiraha. The next one is Gahanaha. Duravagaha Nahi Swacha Sugrahantar Vrittopi Ratnakaro Janudagnaha. Now, at the superficial level, it may seem that as if we can measure him and see him. But as we get into him, he will be like the river or ocean. If you go to Brahmaputra, if you go to Amazon, if you go to Nile, these are all rivers. Even Godavari, you will not be able to understand what is the depth. At the superficial level, it will seem as if we can perceive it. As you go deeper, the darker it gets. You don't know how deep it is. Since he is so, he is called as Gahanaha. So Gahanaha tells he may be visible, but he is very deep. You will not be able to quantify him, measure him in the process. So that is why he is called as Gahanaha. Next is 549th Nama. So for 549th Nama, we have Guptaha. Guptaha tad Gauravajnaihi Purva Gurubihi. So he is protected by the very gunas of the Lord and as well as the grace of Purvacharyas, the one who is able to give an opportunity to his devotees to be able to be protected by the grace of Purvacharyas is called as Guptaha. The next nama is Chakra Gadadharaha. Ukta Nityarupa Vibhushanavat Panchashaktimaya Nityadivyayudhaha. So, by the very reading and understanding of the Panchamahonishad. So you have got the Pancha Upanishad, right? From that, Panchashaktamayi Nityadivyayudha. He is the one who will always carry the Panchamahayudham. be it Spurat Sahasra Rishikari Tibram Sudarshanam Bhaskara Koti Tulyam Suradvisham Pranavinasa Vishnoho Chakram Sadaham Sharanam Prabhadye Samanasaram Kaumodakim Daitya Kulaigrahantim. So be it the Shankam, Chakram, Gada, Sharngam and Nandakam, Panchayudham, he is the one who blesses his devotees. If you want to go to an abode like Tirumalirunjolai, which is Vrishabhadri near Madurai in the south of India, you will find the Lord sport 5 Divya Yudhams. Same is the case with Gosakha Swami, the Lord form of Krishna, in a place which is called Terezhundur, where Uparichara was blessed by the Lord. So he holds Panchayudham. Shankhabrin, Nandaki, Chakri, Sharanga Dharma, Gadadharaha. So we have these names explained. Now in one verse we have more than 2 Ayudhams. Ari Madekkanna, Onnani Kaigaravel, Ari Ulpukku, Muhandu Kodaitteri, Uri Mudalvan, Uruvam Pol, Meikaruthu, Pariyam Toludaya, Parpanaban Kayil, Aribol Minni, Valamburi Nindradirdu, Tadade, Sharga Mudaita Sharamare Pol, Vada Ulaginil Pedidai. Of the 5 Panchayudhams, the saint poetess, the mystic saint poetess, Andal mentions of 3 Kshetras with 5. You have got Panchayudha Stotram. Hence, through the Pancha Upanishad, you are able to realize the Lord of Panchayudham. So he is called as Gahanaha. And later, we also call him Chakra Gadadhara. Chakra Gadadhara refers to this concept of the Lord having all these weapons. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Tamadbhutam Balakamambujekshanam Chaturbhujam Shanka Gadharyudhayudam Srivatsalakshmam Galashobikaustubam Pitambaram Sandrapayodi Saubhagam Maharha Vaidurya Kirita Kundalatvisha Parishvakta Sahastra Kuntalam Uddhamakanchi Gadakankanadibir Virochamanam Vasudeva Maikshata. Since he does so, he is called as Chakra Gadadharaha. In continuation, we have the 551st Nama, which is Vedhaha Evam Vividham Ananta Mahavibhavam Nityam Vidadhati Iti Vedhaha. So, he ensures that there are a series of auspicious events that happen to his devotees. That Nama, which upon recitation gives us a series of auspicious events in our lives as well as in the society and in our family, is called Vedhaha, not Veda, Vedhaha. The next Nama is 552nd Nama, which is Swangaha. Yatha Tatraiva Samagra Sadharana Mangalam Charachamaradi Sarvadhirajya Paribarha Jatam Nityam Asya Iti Swangaha. He always being the greatest of the Lords. He is the Paramatma Bhagavan Swamin. So he has to show his royal insignia everywhere. Samagra Swasadharana Mangalam Chatra Chamaradi, be it Chatram or Chamaram, be it the umbrella, be it the fanning service, it is always associated with him. That is why, while being in Rama's form, there is this beautiful kriti in Sanskritam of Muthuswami Dikshita who tells, Chatra Chamara Kara Dhrita Bharata Lakshmana Shatrughna Vibhishana Sevita. So as he continues, who all saw him? There were many people who witnessed him, but how was he? He had the royal insignia with him. He had the ornaments, he had the garments, he had the chatram, he had the chamaram. So in whichever state he is Vibhavavataram or Paramapadanatha, he will have his royal insignia. Swangaha. So he says, Sadharana Mangalam Chatra Chamaradi Sarvadhirajya Paribarha Jatam Nityam Asya Iti Swangaha. It is always associated with him. The next Nama is 553rd Nama, which is Ajitaha. Prakritair Utpatti Maranadibhir Najita Yathokta Dravyopadana Puri Ajita Asyasti Iti Ajitaha. Be it the concept of creation, be it the concept of sustenance, be it the concept of destruction. In whichever way the cycle goes, there are some Jivatmas, through the grace of their acharyas, through the understanding of Brahma Vidyas, are able to perform an upayam, a means to attain the Lord. Once they attain, where will they be? There will be in a lokam which is called Ajita. Ajita means that lokam which can never be won. That is why with the same meaning you have a counter meaning, similar meaning called as Ayodhya. Ayodhye aparajiteti vidita nakamparena sthita is a line. So Ayodhya, that which cannot be won over by Yuddham. Since it is Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh, how did it get its name? It got its name from Vaikuntham, which is also called Ayodhya. Vaikuntham or Paramapadam is also called Ayodhya, since it cannot be won over by a Yuddham. A replica of it was made by Manuna Manavendrena Yapuri Nirmita Swayam. Hence it is called Ayodhya. So this Ayodhya is that Ayodhya, and that Ayodhya is also referred to by the name Ajita, which can never be won, since the one who rests in that Ajita grants us that ability to go there and see him. He is called Ajitaha. Ajita is that lokam, Ajitaha is the Lord. So we have many names, people call themselves Ajit. So Ajit comes from this name Ajitaha. The next nama is Krishnaha. Tanmaya Megha Mecha Tanmaya Megha Mechaka Charuvarnaha Krishnaha. He comes with a beautiful hue, which is Krishnaha. We generally think it is dark. But if you go deeper, many acharyas have said it may seem dark, but there is a tinge of two other colors. One is dark green and the other one is dark blue. To understand which color the Lord is, whether he is dark, which is black, or dark blue or dark green, while Rama was walking in the forest and the sun's rays were falling on him, the Tamil poet Kamban, while presenting Kambaramayanam, thought, I will now check what color, what hue he is. Beyyonnuli tanmeniyil virijotiyil maraya பொய்யோ எனுமிடையாளொடு மிளையானொடும் போரானது மெய்யோ மறிகடலோ மழை முகிலோ. Whether he is dark green, whether he is dark blue or he is black, I am not able to sense. In each angle he seems to show a different color. So when the green and the blue get mixed in a darker black color, there is one color that arrives which rarely will showcase tinge of green and blue. So he is called Krishnaha. Krishna Megha Janitam Janitapaharam. This nama of Krishnaha, Anakaram, is very important. It has been, this nama is the name of the Lord in Krishna Avataram, which we will be discussing in detail later. This Krishna has been called upon by his devotees. Krishna ni begane varo, Krishna ni begane varo, says one poet in the Kannada language. There is another poet called Kanakadasa who says, Baro Krishnaya Ninna Bhaktara Manegiga Krishnaya Baro Krishnaya. Again another poet in the Kannada language. Surdas says, Sabha beech Krishna Krishna Draupadi Pukari. So Krishna, whichever language you go, it has been used. So this nama denotes the hue of the Lord. So he is called Krishnaha. The next nama is the 555th nama, which is Dridhaha. Anayaiva Nitya Vyaktavupasaka Namanugrahaya Vyuhopi Kinchit Sthulaha Dridhaha. Even in the states of the Lord, we have got 5 states as recommended by Agama Shastram: Para, Vyuha, Vibhava, Antaryami, Archa. So Archavataram is the Lord who stays in Sri Rangam, Tirupati, Kanchipuram, Melukote, Guruvayur, Puri Jagannath, Pandarpur, Dwarika, Gokul, Vrindavan, Mathura. You've got Kurukshetra. These are all places where the Lord has come and is not going to move. That is Archavatara. There is the Lord who stays within us, Antaryami. There is the Lord who has incarnated, Ramavatara, Krishnaavatara, Balaramavatara, that is all Vibhavam. There is the Lord who comes, who stays in Paramapadam, the eternal abode, Paraswarupi, Paravasudeva. There is a Lord who comes as Vyuhamurtis, Aniruddha, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Vasudeva. So in these Vyuha forms, Vyuhopi Kinchitis Sthulaha Dhridaha. In the Sthula form, in the very form, gross state, the Lord rests. Nitya Vyaktavupasakanuggrahaya. So to bless upon his devotees who are upasakas of his Vyuhamurtis, he is always there, unmoved and unshaked. So he is called as Dridhaha. He is there, he isn't moved. So he is called Dridhaha. The next nama is 556th nama. Samsare chit achitoratmani samam karshanat samam karma nayati iti sankarshanaha. Now, achit, which is achetana, chit, which is jivatma, both are of different qualities, both are of different sizes. How are they coming together? The Lord will ensure that both of them, despite the disparity, through their qualities, he becomes the substratum, he becomes the very support. So he is called Sankarshanaha. He is able to attract both of them and he becomes the substratum. So he is called Sankarshanaha. The next nama is Achyutaha. Vyuhepi yasmanna chyavase sthanat tasmat sankirtyase achyutaha. Now, iti achyutaha, what he says is, the one who does not allow any slipping, any kind of leaving off that place. So something that slips and comes out is called chyavana. So he does not allow that chyavati process, the process of slippage. He stands dridham even in that state. So he is called Achyutaha. There is another meaning. He does not betray his devotees. That is the name meaning which we gave before. That was for another Achyuta. Since there should be no punarukti dosham. See, suppose Govindaha, 4 times it comes in Sahasranama. Achyutaha, twice it comes in Sahasranama. Ajaha comes 4 times in Sahasranama. If Parāśara, the commentator says, I have given the meaning of 1 ajaha, the remaining 3 ajaha, you just ditto mark it, like how we do in our colleges. Ditto, ditto, ditto. Then it will lead to a dosham, a flaw called as punarukti dosham. You should not keep repeating the same meaning, then it will lead to a big flaw, a blemish in the name of Bhīṣmacharya. Since he was lying on the bed of arrows, he did not know what name he said. Hence he kept repeating the name Govinda 4 times, Ajaha 4 times, Achyutaha twice will be the name. So to ensure that there is a consistency in delivering the meaning as per the rules of Vyakarana Shastram and Nirukti Shastram, Parāśara Bhatta, using the same root, assigns different meanings. One such meaning is the one who does not let himself slip from the Vyuha position is called as Achyutaha. The next nama is the 558th nama, which is Varunaha. Yenavritam Kancha Divam Mahim Cha Teno Davamritam Iti Varunaha. Let it be earth, Bhumi, which is Kancha Divam, be it the space. Divam Mahim Cha Tene Davamritam. So he becomes the very elixir, be it space or earth. Now, at the same time, he will keep that under his control, because during the creation process, they are all in the subtle state. Then they come to the gross state. So he allows them to be condensed. Akashad Vayuhu Vayor Agnihi Agner Apaha Advyaf Prithvi. You may be wondering, out of the 5 Panchabhutas, you have mentioned Akasham and you have mentioned Prithvi, which is Bhumi. What happened to the rest of the 3? See, if I say as a South Indian, I began eating with the salad, then sambar rice, and a few minutes later I say I concluded with the curd rice. What is implied? I must have had a rasam rice in the middle. So if I say the start and if I say the end, I started with this starter, I ended with a dessert, then I don't have to worry that I would have eaten or not in the middle. Likewise, Akasham is mentioned, Bhumi is mentioned. So all of the Panchabhutas put together, Tenedavamritam. Now, he is the one who keeps all this in a hidden state and reveals them only during creation. Since he does so, he is called as a Varunaha. The next nama is Varunaha. Tam Swamitvena Vrunuta iti Varunaha. Tatra Bhavo Varunaha. Now he does that. Now he also ensures that he provides the knowledge of this process to his devotees. He is Varuna. He ensures that this knowledge of the Panchabhutas, Panchikarana Prakriya, there is something called Panchikarana Prakriya. If the Lord has to create, how does this process go? Each of the Panchamahabhutas is 100%. Let's keep it. Now divide, let's say Akasham 100%, divide it into two halves. So you will have 50% Akasham, another 50% Akasham. Divide the remaining 50% Akasham into 4. 12.5% Akasham, 12.5% Akasham, 12.5% Akasham, 12.5% Akasham. There is already another 50%. That 50% of Akasham will retain its innate characteristic and be there. But how do we combine the rest? We have to similarly distribute the remaining Panchabhutas. So there is a 12.5% Akasham. It will now react with the 12.5% Bhumi. There is another 12.5% Vayu, it will react with 12.5% Agni. So similarly, you will get permutations and combinations. That is why you are able to witness a lot of events. They say that there is fire within water. Shastram tells there is fire within water. How did both the elements come into being? Through Panchikarana Prakriya. They say that there is some amount of water content within earth. How did this water and Prithvi come together? Through Panchikarana Prakriya. So Panchikarana Prakriya is a process, and that is the secret of him bringing about the 5 gross elements into existence. So he is called as Varunaha. The one who is adept with that knowledge, blessed by the Almighty, becomes as Varunaha. The next nama is 560th nama, which is Vrikshaha. Teshu Chaya Taru Vada Vritanam Upajivya Sarvasva Tat Kritopamarda Sahasra Saho Vrikshata iti Vrikshaha. Now he is the one where all the devotees come to him, and he provides the very shade for them. They may be suffering because of tapatrayam, they may be suffering because of ajnanam, they may be suffering because of karma, they may be suffering because of vasana, they may be suffering because of prakriti sambandham. Whatever reason the devotee is suffering from, the Lord becomes the very large tree that offers cool shade. So he is the vriksha, he is the very tree. There is one anecdote given in Skanda Puranam, which tells that once a devotee was traveling from the south of India to the north of India, where the Lord stays in a kshetram called Badrinath, which is called Badarikashramam. So on his way, on a sojourn from the south, it is said at one point in time while he was crossing Andhra Pradesh, it was very hot, scorching rays of the sun, no tree. He sat atop a boulder and thought to himself, "Oh Lord, I am coming to have a darshan of you, but here I am suffering without shade. Won't I get shade?" The very moment he said, the next minute he got shade, because the Lord appeared as a mango tree so that he gives him the shade as well as gives him the fruits for him to sustain. So he became the mango tree, and Mahalakshmi, the very mother, came as a smaller mango tree. So she was called Kubjamram. Kubja means short. Amram means mango. Kubjamram means a short mango tree. So the Lord is the very vriksha. So he is called as Vrikshaha, 560th nama. The next nama is Pushkarakshaha. Tesham Prasada Varshena Poshake Akshini Yasya Saha Pushkarakshaha. So he says, Tesham Prasada Varshena Poshake. When the Lord looks at us, his eyes should be like that of a mother. When the child cries, the mother will come and see it, look at the child. Just by looking at the mother's eyes, the child will be able to quench his or her thirst. So the eyes should be able to do that magic. Since the Lord, Tesham Prasada Varshena Poshake, he through his grace, he through his daya, he through his karuna, Akshini Yasya Saha Pushkarakshaha. He is able to nurture his children. So he is called as Pushkarakshaha. The next nama is Mahamanaha. Teshvagadha Gadhodara Vistrita Manaha Mahamanaha. He has got a large heart. He is so magnanimous to his devotees. If they don't ask, he gives. If we ask, he gives multiple times. So we should be able to differentiate those periods where we want to ask and not ask. If we have to get moksham, we have to request him. Please grant me. So he does that. He's got a large heart. He's got a large mind to accept his devotees sans any discrimination. He's called Mahamanaha. The next nama is Bhagavan. So this is a very important nama because be it Parameshwaraha, Paramatma, Bhagavan, where we refer to Parabrahmam, he is the one who is referred to. In Vishnu Sahasranama, he is the one who is referred to. Adi Shankara has written, Parāśara Bhaṭṭa has written, and Dvaita Sampradaya, Satyasanta Tirtha has written. For this nama, I am going to read out all the three commentaries. It's a very important nama. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasaha Shriyaha Jnana Vairagya Yoschaiva Shannam Bhaga Itirina Sosyastiti Bhagavan. This is Adi Shankaracharya's commentary. Jnana Bala, Aishwarya Virya, Shakti Tejas. These are the 6 gunas that define Parabrahmam. Jnana Bala, the first two are denoted by the letter Bha. Aishwarya Virya by the letter Ga. Shakti Tejas by the letter Va. Bhagava. So the one who has dhanam is called dhanavan. The one who has called buddhi is buddhiman. The one who has got 6 qualities, Bhagava, is called Bhagavan. The other interpretation is Bhagava means he is a repository of 6 qualities, Jnana Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, Shakti, Tejas. At the same time, does he have any errors? Does he have faults? Does he have flaws? Does he have blemishes? No. He doesn't have any blemishes. How do you say no in Sanskrit? Na. How do you get na? A plus an, when a plus in becomes an, and when that is reversed, that becomes na. So that na is denoted by the letter an. Bhagava plus an is Bhagavan. So you have to derive that word. So Adi Shankara uses this line from Puranas and says all the 6 qualities are only in Vishnu, in Paramatma, in Bhagavan. The second is Parāśara Bhatta's commentary. Evam asesha dosha vidvesha kalyana swarupataya paramapujyo Bhagavan. He is the one who is to be worshipped by all of us because he does not have any bad qualities. He is a repository of all good qualities. He thereby becomes the object of worship. Next, Aishwaryadi Shad Gunaha. Very simply, Dvaita Sampradayam says, you begin with the first guna, Aishwarya, all the 6 are in him. So we have discussed many a times in Shastram, the one who has all the 6 is Bhagavan. So it is only this Lord who is called Paramatma, who is called Narayanaha, who is called as Vishnu, who is called as Bhagavan. It is not right upon us, not justified on our part, to use this Bhagavan for any guru we have. So Bhagavan is exclusively reserved for one. So that alone should be retained, has been our Purvacharya's statement. The next guna that we are going to talk about is 564th nama, which is Bhagaha, Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasaha Shriyaha Jnana Vairagyayoschaiva Shannam Bhaga Itirina Tam Hanti Gacchati. The one who has got all the 6 gunas in him. The previous nama Bhagavan Adi Shankara used. Now in this nama Bhagaha, Parāśara Bhaṭṭa states that all the 6 rests in him. Shannam Bhagaitirina. There used to be a work called as Shadgunya Vivekam, that which gives us knowledge about the one who has got 6 qualities. It is now not in usage, but Vedanta Deshika of the 13th century in his work called as Tattva-tīka refers to this work. Now, next is 565th nama, which is Nandi. So, what does Nandi mean? Here he says, Evam asau vyuhena sankarshanaha swavatare nandagopena pitruman. So, amongst the Vyuhamurtis of the Lord, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, that form of the Lord, became Balarama in Dwapara Yugam. And that Balarama was born as the son of Vasudeva, but was nurtured as the son of Nandagopala. Since he was nurtured as the son of Nandagopala, as being Balarama, who was earlier Sankarshanamurti, he is called as Nandi. The next nama is Vanamali. Now, Swasrajya Bhuta Sukshmasara Saurabhyabhimaninya Vaijayantya Nityayogi Vanamali. So he says there are 5 bhuta, the panchabhutas that he has done: Akashad Vayuhu, Vayoragnihi, Agnerāpaha, Adhyaf Prithvi. Bhuta Sukshmasara Saurabhyabhimaninya. Now each of these elements will have a smell. Now if you go to scents and perfumes, they will say lavender smell. From the lavender flowers we have collected and extracted the smell. Rose, tea rose smell, they say, right? So they extract that essence from each of this and present to us. Likewise, from the Panchabhutas, whatever is the exclusive characteristic feature of the smell, the Lord puts it together. Vaijayantya Nityayogi Vanamali. Then the Lord sports that as Vanamali. So there is a verse, Purudan Manivaramaha Ponnamula Pragriti Maruvaga Mantandaga Irudigangal Shargam Shangaga Irubhutamalai Vanamalayaga Irubhutamalai. So Vedanta Deshika says this in Tamil 750 years before. Irubhutamalai Vanamalayaga. What is that Vanamala? Vanamala is nothing but the extract of the bhutas. So the one who sports the Panchabhutas and its extract as a garland which is inseparable from him is called as Vanamali. 566th Nama. Next is 567th Nama. Hala Yudhaha. So, Ukta Bhuta Samriddha Krishivala Hala Parikaraha. Hala Yudhaha. Halam is plow. What does the plow use for? For plowing the land, for tilling the land, for keeping it at a place which is conducive for laying down the seeds, the bijam. The farmer plows the land first. Either he does it with the help of animals or he does it himself. In whichever case, you need the hala, the plow. So, in our lives, we need somebody to plow our minds so that the seeds of knowledge could be sown. Who does that? Hala Yudhaha, the one who holds the plow as an instrument or as a weapon and plows the land, which is our mind, to sow the seeds of knowledge, is called Hala Yudhaha. Krishivalam Dhinoti, says Vedanta Deshika and Dayashatakam, to denote the occupation of a farmer.